Yo, what up, sinners? Welcome back. We are doing the visuals to film out. This is part of a two-part series. We are on the second half, and this is visuals and visual breakdown. We are going to watch it through once. I'm going to try not to say too much as we watch it. Then I'm going to take a break and watch it a few times over and write down everything I see. And then we're going to go back and we're going to analyze the crap out of it. See if we can't find anything special. And this is going to be not knowing anything about the notes too. Haven't read it yet, but we will get to that sometime after the summer. Hopefully get them posted up like we did the last one. I'm very anxious. I'm very excited. I know I don't sound it, but I'm doing everything I can not to jump out of my seat right now. As a matter of fact, I'm going to get ready because I might have one of those moments tonight just to be safe. So we're going to sit on the edge of our chair while we do this. Last time we watched something, I got teary-eyed. So, if you're new here, hi, I'm Infinite Sin. I react to BTS music videos and songs. I usually break down the lyrics and do visual analysis after I listen through just to see if I connect to the song. We did that in the last video. We liked it. I actually kind of loved it. This is our first attempt at doing a visual watch through and then a theory vid. So I'm really excited about this. I don't know if I'm ready. Like, I'm nervous. We're here. We're here. I'm gonna bring down the mic because I'm about to lean in on this. I ain't even lying. So, I hope you guys enjoy the bass. Let's go, bro. Let's get this bread, man. Oh! 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 Oh, God! Big Hit, I love you, but why? Why? Bring back the old intro, bro. Congratulations. I see the H for Hybe and the combo. Congratulations. For real. Congratulations. But why could we add this to the old intro? Like, at the top, instead of Big Hit, we get the Big Hit Hybe music thing in white. Like, yeah, dude, that'd be dope. Think about it. Oh my gosh, okay. Come on now. What the? What the? What? Holy crap. I was loud. Sorry. Okay. Wow. Alright, sit tight. I'm gonna go get a piece of paper and a pen, and I will be right back. That was great. What does it mean? What does it mean? Like, what? Alright. Let's bring this closer. Y'all excuse the big mic in my face. Yeah, I think that you guys deserve a nice little depth, little reiteration to this, little oomph to this description. And normally I look at the camera. I really like looking at the camera. I'm gonna have to read, and we're gonna do things a little bit differently than what we normally do. I'm actually gonna show the video. We're gonna pick this thing apart. I'm gonna explain to you what I think is going on scene for scene. Mostly. First off, there's a lot going on in here. I have 2.5 pages of stuff that I wrote down. And at the end, I came to a very big conclusion that I'm actually concerned about. Okay, so the first scene we come to is JK standing in a room, a trashed room, just a dismal, dark room. It's not like pitch black or being stuck in the night. It's just misery, miserable room, right? There's leaves everywhere. There's dust all over the place. It's things thrown around. You can tell that it's been in dismay for quite some time. Kind of leads me to believe that JK might actually be trapped in some, either in his mind. Is usually when I think of a room in this context metaphorically, I think of being trapped in your mind. Sheets are only half covering the furniture, and only half the room is organized and the other half is destroyed. And when I think about things being vacant, rooms being vacant, houses being vacant, like somebody's moved out, I think about sheets covering everything, which leads me to believe that this room is occupied by JK. And judging by the way things are, it looks like he's been there for quite some time. All the plants are dead, right? Except for the palm tree, which ironically, if you remember back to the BU trailer, Jin being on the beach with the cat. Right? And the message that the cat leaves him. And then what happened in the trailer with Jin and JK. This may be minuscule, but throughout the room, you can see that there are 7 visible vases. Not flower pots, but vases. Just scattered randomly. I'll point them out for you whenever we get to that part. There's one cup that's left out. On the table, near the couch, there's another cup that's covered up on the table near the right side of the room. It's weird that that's set up the way it is, half and half, in between stuck. No good, no bad, kind of just right in the line. If you also look on the coffee table, there's an hourglass on its side. The hourglass will come into play later. Hell, you can even see the clouds behind JK. Half of them are bright, half of them are dark. It's split. I think that's the major theme in this room. The next scene we go to, we see Tae. Tae's sitting on the couch. He's all by himself. He's all by his lonesome. The room is not necessarily in disarray as much as it was before. Hourglass is still on its side and by itself. But he's sitting in the room by himself, and the scene pans forward. And somehow, one way or another, he ends up with the cloudy background half and half behind him as well. And then the room goes dark. Transition to the next scene with Jin walking into the room that JK was in. Everything half covered, chairs tipped over, spotlight in the room where JK once stood. It's not a good sign. There's an hourglass on its side on the table just like it had been before, which means that these are all the same room. So I think that this room has been occupied at different points in time by different people. I think that perhaps Tae was the first to be in this room, and JK was the second. And Jin is coming up on a scene where it's too late, hence the spotlight. A few seconds go by, we transition to the next part of the video where another room has suddenly appeared miraculously in the window, which we learn is not only a window but a mirror in its own reference. But as far as we know at this point, it's probably just a window. This window is a sheet separating two worlds. Oddly enough, it's referenced as a sheet, much like the other half and half folded sheets. So in the other room, you notice that it's the same room, but it's not quite exactly the same. There's a lot of major differences in this. There's a lot of minor differences. There's a few major differences. Some of the things that I noticed, that all the plants are living, is probably the most obvious. There's actual people in this room. Not just one, not just four, but all 7 of the boys are in this room. This room is bright versus the dark and dismal room, complete opposite. Which, as we've learned in the past, usually means a two worlds reference, right? Look on the shelves, there's plants in all of the vases. And if you look to the left-hand side, you'll see there's an hourglass upright sitting on the table. But if you backtrack just a hair, you also notice there's an hourglass sitting on the frame as Jin walks up to his side of the glass. Also on the table, you'll see a chessboard with a game that's been started but not finished. If you count the amount of pieces that are on the board, you'll notice that there are more black pieces moved than light pieces, which could be a significant sign that the shadow side of the two worlds is winning, or at least ahead. The biggest question is, why was the game stopped on turn 7? It's not noticeable at first, but if you pay attention, there are 2 lights that are over 2 individuals. They're both on. I don't know if that has any significance, but it's there. Also, for doing the counting thing, there's 7 things on that table that's in front of the couch. 4 vases, 2 coffee cups, light and dark, and a chessboard. The hourglass stands by itself, so it doesn't really go with the group of clustered objects. That's the same hourglass that's on the frame that Jin walks up to in the other room. Something slightly off about it, and we'll get to that in just a second. It's funny how in this brighter world, this world of white cloth and white texture everywhere, that there is no hourglass on its side. The hourglass on the table is upright and smaller, possibly signifying that there's a short amount of time left, depending on how much time an hourglass that size keeps track of versus one of a larger size. We get to the scene where RM actually starts singing, instead of looking like the golden Greek god he is. One of the few scenes that you can almost have to pause to check is there are 4 individuals making hand gestures towards the air or their face. The room is divided, 3 on the left, 3 on the right, 1 in the middle. At which point, RM sits on the couch and becomes part of the group to the left. I feel like this represents a decision or a choice made. What that choice is, not quite sure yet. After that, Jin turns away from the group, and the group automatically comes to life. Also notice how everyone in the other room is wearing white clothing and Jin is the only one in a shirt that has some kind of design to it. If you notice, there's a small moment of time where Jimin puts his arms up, back to the wall, and everybody's looking his direction. The window suddenly has blinds. It's very thin, but you can kind of see through it. I don't know if that's supposed to be a metaphor or a stage effect, trying to hide the glass, but what if? Jin turns the hourglass over, and time starts draining away. JK notices something, and looks to the corner in Jin's direction. Oddly enough, the blinds are not visible from Jin's side of the world, but they are visible from the side of the world where everyone is. Almost like they can't see something. You know, kind of like it's been this whole time. Let's take a good look at the hourglass that Jin is holding. It's full. It's got a lot of sand. Interestingly enough, there's another hourglass identical to this one, and it's on the other side of the wall. But if you notice as JK looks at the glass, it's the amount of time that is dripped from Jin's hourglass. This symbolizes that what Jin does is affecting what's going on in this other world. But if you notice, there's no sand at the top, and there's barely any sand at the bottom. This could mean that the worlds are connected, and that anything Jin does affects the real world. This could also mean that Jin is creating something out of nothing. It could also be it could also be a reference for borrowed time. Next, we're going to get to Yoongi. Yoongi's sitting on a platform with nothing around him, at the edge of a door frame with no door. He's alone, and the world's spinning. Almost like, even though he's by himself, the world will keep spinning. This is a small metaphorical reference, but it's doable. After Jin has flipped the hourglass, the boys disappear, almost like they never existed, almost like it never happened, and arrive at Jin reaching out to the window, to the glass, to the next world, almost stunned. We transition to a scene where Yoongi and J-Hope are sitting back to back against a door frame with no door, and then I made a realization. The two sitting back to back are almost mirror image. Pay attention to their backs, not their clothes, not their hair, not their faces, but their backs. They're sitting back to back against this empty door frame, like a reflection. So the doors are acting as a mirror, or is it that the mirrors are acting as the door? We see Jin reach for the reflection before Jungkook vanishes. He turns back to see the sand filling back up in the hourglass. It's almost as if time is going in reverse. Imagine that. All of a sudden, both worlds explode simultaneously at the same time. And this is where I had a lot of questions and a lot of deep thoughts. First of all, why is the room red? What's going on with the color schemes here? Why are the rooms different colors? And then I started thinking, what if the rooms are supposed to be alert levels? Lighter the color, the less is going on, but the more the color, the more is going on. White being neutral, nothing's really happening. Yellow being a concern, a worry, all right, let's pay attention moment. And red being danger, being too late, or possibly end of something. So now I want to know why both worlds are the same. Why are their pages flying everywhere in both worlds? Have both worlds made a connection? Are all worlds being reset? I'd also like to take notice that the windows are not exploding glass, they're exploding paper. In the notes we know that when things reset, the mirror breaks. Glass breaks. But granted, you'd probably get hurt if it were real glass, so that makes sense. Use paper instead. It's a very good artistic way to illustrate this scene. But does the breaking of the glass mean the destruction of what was written? Like it never happened? After the eruption of every encyclopedia in the world, we see Jin start to run away. As he's running away, if you look back at when the rooms were exploding, now, as these pages are exploding, I want you to look into the other room. There's a door in that other room, and that door is closed. But as Jin is running away, there's a door behind him. Assuming he hasn't left the room or isn't in another world based off of the color of the room, and the pictures on the walls. That door is now open. And Jin is freaking out. Why is that door open? What happened? I have so many questions. Jin runs to the door in his room, and he opens it up. Only come into this abyss of doors everywhere, floating high in the sky above the clouds. Every other door is closed with no place to stand outside of it, no platform. Nothing. Complete opposite of Yumi. Another question is, why are all the other doors closed? I have a few questions about this. This is where I start to get worried. If that is the only door he has to go through, and the other door is already open in the other room, has he exhausted every option? Is the path that he's on the only one he's gonna be on? Is he trapped now? Is it the only route he can take? And if it's the only route he can take, has he reached a dead end? If he's reached a dead end, does that mean time is resetting? If time has already reset and he's trapped, does that mean he can't do anything now? I have so many questions. There's a very small scene where, in between this one and the next, where Yoongi and J-Hope they're looking at each other, but they're not seeing each other. It's like they're there, but they don't know the other one is. So the only explanation I could come up with is that doorway has got to be a metaphor for a mirror or a reflection being some kind of doorway. So the next scene we get to is a misty scene with all the boys after we see Jin freak out a little bit. They're all wearing the same clothes as they were in both worlds. So this kind of symbolizes that they're all together now because they're in one room or one area. But for some reason, Jin is standing forward from the rest of them. And I don't know if that's supposed to mean that through this entire journey, Jin has been the leader of everything, the cause of everything. Is this supposed to just be another clue and we already know too much, you know? And none of them look like they're looking at really anything. They're just staring off into space. There really is no clear path. We get to the point where Yoongi and J-Hope are at the doorway again and they're actually reaching for their own reflection. I have a lot of questions about this. Are we seeing another pairing happen? Are they connected through time in some way? Does their storyline or their timeline change? Is that how that happens? Tae's now in the room where the explosions have happened. This is the dead room. Jin walks back into the dead room after being denied at the door, not having anywhere to go, and looks into the other room where Tae is standing. Tae's looking into the glass, no blinds, and we see a panoramic scene where Jin is now gone. The door is closed behind Tae, and Tae reaches for the glass, and the dark room goes black. So here's the thing. I've seen a lot of things. I saw a lot of things as I was even narrating that. I think one of the good things about being an army and theorizing with you guys is that we always see something new when we watch the videos, and we always watch the videos more than once. So this is just a pre-analysis of an analysis, I guess. Like, we're gonna learn. We're gonna see new things. We're gonna even learn stuff in the notes. It's probably gonna open up our eyes a little bit. I think that Jin is in trouble. Something has happened. I think he's either messed with the timeline a little too much, and now there's no escape, or it's metaphorical, and he's written himself into a spot where he can no longer, there's nothing left to do. It's my best guess, man. That's my best guess. But that's gonna be my analysis. Tell me how I did. Not bad for a first try. Saw a lot. I'm sure I missed a few things. If I did, please let me know. And as usual, you guys, if you liked what you saw, go through the motions, hit subscribe, comment, check out the links, etc. You know how it goes. This has been fun. I can't wait for the next video. Hopefully it won't be 6 months away. You guys, y'all stay safe, stay healthy. I'll check you guys later.